Good morning, welcome back to In the Garden. Paul and Taft here, and Paul, we're actually in the garden. We're in your garden, and
Yay.
things are looking pretty good so far.
You know, despite all the heavy rains, things are looking pretty good. I've had a few issues, but I use raised beds, and man, oh man, they just drain so well that it's made a huge difference. If you're gardening on the flat land, it could still be pretty soggy if you've got heavy clay soils. But I'm lucky. I wanted to show you just some odds and ends today. This is a crop of beans. These are green beans, string beans, or if you prefer the French, haricots verts.
No, fancy.
But what I wanted to point out is that I sowed this crop about 3 weeks ago, and they're just now starting to set beans. In fact, there's some beautiful little ones forming. Then I waited a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and then sowed another crop. That way I'm not inundated with a bunch of beans and have more than I can really store, and I don't want to have to mess with having to blanch them and freeze them and all that. I like to eat them fresh. So succession sowing is something to keep in mind with a lot of different crops. Squash, eggplant, whatever it is. Sow some, wait a couple of weeks, sow some more.
And they're going to be fresh all the way through the season, and it'll expand that season out.
Yep. Now, what goes really good with green beans?
You have to be potatoes.
Absolutely. Let's harvest some potatoes.
Okay, let's go. All right, Paul, now we're at the potatoes. We're back in February. They were planted, and now they're ready to harvest. At least some of them are.
Yeah, as new potatoes. The vines they haven't started to really fade yet. You can let them go a little bit longer, okay, and the vines will just start to brown, and those are storage potatoes. They'll keep a little longer. Okay. But these I want to eat fresh. So this is the most exciting moment in the garden. Because, we planted these, back in February?
February.
Let's see what we got. Now, you can actually use a pitchfork and kind of dig them out, but my soil's so loose.
Wow.
Let's see what we got. We got a few, not as many as I'd hoped, but if we wait a little bit longer, we're going to get even more, because I see a bunch of little babies, little pups, and there may still be some more down in here that I need to look at. But that's your new potato.
Very nice.
I usually wash them before I eat them.
I would suggest that, yes.
So there's more. We'll see. Let's see what this one's got. Yeah, that one doesn't have it. We're going to have to wait a little longer on that one. Actually, look at that. I love them when they're that size. Those are super tasty and tender.
Looking good. Okay, Paul, now we moved over to a couple of warm season crops, eggplant and peppers.
And I love them both. But, we were talking last week about the need for fertilizer because all these nutrients have been leached out of the soil. You can kind of see that. This particular pepper here it's a little anemic. Okay. It's got that lighter green as opposed to this one that's got a really dark green. So definitely need a little fertilizer here. But one other thing I want to do is, because we haven't had much sun and heat, these plants have just kind of been sitting there. So what I want to do is remove some of the fruit so that all that energy goes back into foliar production and root development. So then ultimately we're going to have a better crop, actually, because we won't weaken the plant. So there's a couple little ones, and I'm just going to cut those off. This is what they call a mild jalapeno. You want to let me know what you think?
Sure.
I mean, is it mild?
Very mild.
Okay.
Tastes like jalapeno, just mild. Yeah.
Good. Same thing with the eggplant. I'm not seeing a nutrient deficiency on the eggplant, but the plants are just kind of small. And I've already got, this is a Japanese variety called Ichiban that develops these fingerling type eggplant. But I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And actually, if you split that down the middle and put it on the grill with a little salt and pepper and olive oil, it's delish.
Perfect. And in a little individual size, too.
Exactly. Same thing with tomatoes. Tomatoes are over in another section of the garden. You might want to remove some of the flowers, some of the fruit, and just let those plants develop a little bit more. Because you'll want, again, you want to wind up with a really robust, healthy plant that can support a lot of that fruit.
Yeah, so we have plenty of time to do it. And your garden looking good. You're having a lot of success, and hopefully other people having the same success in their gardens.
I hope so too. Let me try this.
Wasn't bad.